Hey folks, welcome back. It's the Big Barn Build and finally we're onto our cladding. We're going to start on the reveals today, show you what we're doing there, and then it won't be long before we can get all of these boards up along here. Stick around, let's make a start. Great length screwdriver. So these are aluminium windowsills that were kind of custom made to our sizes. We had upstands made, so they've got welded corners, so they're really nice, and we know that they're kind of weather tight. You can buy these in 3-meter lengths and cut them to size yourself, but then I don't know quite what you do at the back. These are made like proper trays. They're fixed into that block underneath the window with these colour-coded screws, which we didn't realise were in the package. We used other screws, then we found these, swapped them out, and we've sealed that all in there. So there's some black mastic at the back, and then what we've done is in a couple of places we've just had to grind the front edge of the brick just to make sure we've got a nice enough fall. It doesn't need to be much, but there's a preset fall in there, but it was fouling a little bit on some of these, so you can see we ground that. They're really nice. They've had a little detailing done there, whether or not our cladding might end up hiding that anyway. But we've got glazing tape to our windows, and we've also got some extra tape which we've just lapped over onto this upstand, and of course all of our cladding, we've got black trim sections to go over all of that in the future. So that's where we ended up with the sills on Monday. But today, whilst the sun is finally out, we're all about the reveals. So I'll reveal the reveal. So this is how we're starting out. We're just running some battens out at kind of 300-400 centres to carry the two boards that will bring us out. Now we're using the same profile, so there's going to be a little shadow gap in the middle of that reveal. We were going to get bang centre, but we've decided we're just going to leave it a third out, or a third in I should say. So it's a full board first, and then the reveal, and then all the way around, and then that will bring us out flush with our framing. It's kind of two ways to do that cladding to reveal. You can either put the reveals in first and clad over the edge of them, which is what we've decided to do here, slightly neater look, or you can bring the reveals out beyond the depth of the cladding and then you butt the cladding up to that, which is what we did on the cabin. Again, looks nice, but I just think this is a slightly cleaner look and probably a little bit more in keeping with how it was before, which is just barn boards all the way along. Nice to see a bit of brickwork again. You can see this one here is all done all the way around, and then what we'll be doing when we do the cladding along here is that last board, once we kind of gauged it out, that last board will finish tight to this face. So actually this board ends up about 1mm proud of here to make sure that it will sit really tight against there. And then so from the front you'll just see the board, and then you'll see the edge of that board from this way.
Yeah, I like what you've done with the place.
Right, there we go. So we are ploughing on with our windowsills and cladding. So the reveals are in and we've made a start on that cladding. We've even worked our way along on that one section and it's looking amazing. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you in the next video. But the rain is unbelievable. And of course we still don't have guttering. So we're gonna be hopping back in and out. We made a start on some of the ducting and things like that. But frankly, the rain is just killing it right now and it just hasn't stopped. It's flooded 3 times in 2 weeks down on the fields. I'm struggling to keep my head above the water, quite literally, on the farm. I haven't slept in a long time. Don't tell me in the comments how rough I look. Blame a moody cow and a new calf. But anyway, the show goes on and that's what it is. More exciting stuff, the air test. How has that impacted things? We've now got the figures back from Alex on how the 0.27 air changes per hour, when we input that into our model, how does that change the efficiency of the house? And it's good, it's really good. Let me share with you a bit of the data. I'll whistle through this because we've done the nerdy stuff already. And frankly, I haven't got much time. I'm gonna get this little bit filmed to put onto tonight's video. It's Eden's birthday today. We're now parents of a teenager, which is scary. But I've still got at least an hour worth of farm stuff to get done before we head out this morning. But anyway, here are all the graphs and figures from Alex. Now, remember, we were doing all of our modelling based on sort of 2 or 1 air changes per hour with the insulation as we designed. But now we've got that figure of 0.27, albeit I think he used 0.3 in here just as a kind of bit of a buffer. We wanted to see how that impacted the building as it stands and whether we needed to add a load more insulation if we actually wanted to go full on Passive House accredited. But the good news is, I don't know how well this is going to show up on the phone. Anyway, I don't know how well this will show up on my phone. Remember, we've got the actual result versus the criteria to be Passive House standard. And then, well, if you get a yes in all those, you know where you stand. Right, regardless of whether you can see this or not, I'll explain. So first off, heating demand now is at 14 kilowatt hours per metre squared per annum. The criteria for a Passive House is 15, so we get a tick. And the heating load, is watts per square metre, is now 8. And the criteria is 10. Now, I think I'm right in saying you only have to have one of those. We've got a yes for both of those. And then overheating is all fine. And what else did we have to... Oh, and the pressurization air change is obviously 0.3. We're meant to be a 0.6. Beautiful. That's a yes. So, what happens? We end up with a yes, 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 yes. Passive House Classic, yes. We did it. Just that air change alone, with the insulation as it stands, has taken us to the point where we have now created a building that works to Passive House standards. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean we're going to go full on Passive House accredited? The short answer is no. So the next stage would be, if we wanted to do it, there's an additional layer of modelling for thermal bridging and more third-party stuff, and there's some slight restrictions on what appliances we purchase or use, like the MVHR and things like that. Now, would that make a difference? Well, not really, because I think there's been quite a lot of buffer being put in by Alex on things like the partition walls to the pool. I think he's now tweaked that, but there's certain things like thermal bridging and assumptions that are actually in our favour. So it might even get better if you went that one step further. I think that we've got enough on our plate, and there's not really a benefit there, apart from perhaps having another third party accredit it and like for certain that you've made it. But I think it's fair to say that we're so far beyond the Passive House standard. Well, not crazy about beyond, but we are beyond it, that actually we can be pretty confident that we've done it. We've done it. We've turned a cow shed into a Passive House building, which is great. And I didn't want to start using the Passive House term because, I thought, oh, it's probably trademarked and you have to have this bit of paper to say, you are it. But actually, I read into it on the Passive House Trust. And they're quite open in the way that they use the term, or allow others to use the term. And that it's kind of the way the building performed. It's kind of labelling the standard of the building rather than the certificate you've got. Now, I'm not going to start calling us an accredited Passive House. That wouldn't be right. But the fact that we've used a Passive House consultant and we've modelled everything through PHPP, we've actually built what we put through the model, because of course anyone could create a model and then go ahead and not build it into the detail that you meant to, and not document all the insulation and everything like that. We're good on documentation here. So we can, well, not officially, I guess you can. We can confidently call ourselves a Passive House. We just won't say we're an accredited Passive House. So if we were selling the property, we'd probably have to say, Passive House standards. But all that said, we've done it, and we can prove it factually, scientifically, through the right software. And I think that's pretty good going, especially bearing in mind what we started. And here's a little look at that, because we are coming up to 2 years, which means, I have to admit it, it's a relatively slow build, but it's a big build and there's a small labour force. And this is what we started with. For some of you who may have joined us later on in the sort of process, we started with a large cubicle shed. It's a standard British style dairy housing for cows. So we had cubicles running through it. We had an asbestos sheet roof. We had block walls, hollow block walls, and cladding above. And, you can start seeing in there some of the things that we have now, through planning and through decision-making of ourselves, some of the things we've retained in as much as the style of the cladding and the height of brick and block. Just thankfully, it's brick, not block. But there we go. That's what we started with. And this is where we are now. Still a bit of a shell of a building, but we kind of have 3 plastered rooms ready to decorate, ready for second fix, which is a bit nuts. Ducting is going ahead. All the first fix electrics are done now. So really, it's just a case of board on the inside. Outside's a different story. We're going to carry on with the cladding, and then we're onto the steel cladding at the end. But you know that. But the rain's got to stop first. But I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think of the whole Passive House thing. Are we right or wrong to not go down the full accredited route? I don't know, but I'm pretty confidently happy that we've done our bit, we've proved the concept, and hopefully this building is going to cost next to nothing to live in, which is the next best thing. I'm going to leave it there. Any questions, leave them down in the comments, and I promise you the cladding video will be coming very soon. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.